Welcome back to the Excel Me Resolution 2021. Today is our last video. It's going to be about conditional. But I promise you, I'll make it as easy as possible. I'll make it as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Well done, by the way. Congratulations, you've gone that far. We've just got one more video and then that's it. You'll have a great understanding, a massive overview of all the tenses in the English language, and you've just got one more to do. So, the conditional in English is a little bit complicated. So, in fact, there are 3 of them. Conditional 1, conditional 2, and conditional 3. One of them is about reality. The other one is about dreaming, and the last one, conditional 3, is more about regrets or in general about the past. Okay? So let's start with the reality, conditional 1. Let's think about job interviews. I think that is something that is on many people's minds at the moment, the time of pandemic, a difficult year for people are changing jobs, thinking of a better lives, things like that. So anyway, let's think about it, about the conditional in the context of a job interview. So if you get a job interview, please don't be late. Or when you get a job interview, please don't be late. That's conditional 1, okay? So it's something realistic, or we can even swap those things places, swap those 2 parts, and we can say, please don't be late when you go for your job interview. So as you can imagine, there is no part 1 and part 2 in a conditional sentence. There's only the if part and the other part. So for the reality, for the conditional 1, you can use the present and the present. So for example, if you get something right, present and present. So for example, when you go for your job interview, please be on time. Okay, so we've got 2 present tenses. Then we can also, of course, have the future in one of the parts. So for example, we can say, if it rains, when I go for my interview tomorrow, so if it rains, I will take the train. Otherwise, I will cycle. So as you can imagine, we can use present in the if part, and then the future, or will, in the second part, okay? Now, one important thing to remember is that the if part can never, ever, ever contain the will. Okay, the will and the would you will see for the second conditional. So the if part has to remain as pure and simple. It's just if, okay? So for the first conditional, the reality, let's think of some of your examples. As per usual, you can pause this video, jot down some of your examples, or simply think of some in your mind. Thank you very much. Now let's move on. The second conditional is all about dreams. Okay, there's nothing real about it. For example, if I got an interview at Google, I would be delighted. I have no skills to work for Google. I've got, nothing. But, I admire the company. Maybe I don't. But anyway, my sentence is, if I got an interview at Google, I'm imagining, I would be delighted. So as you can see, will turns into would into the second conditional. And again, as per always, as per usual, we can never have will or would in the same part as the if. Okay? Right, I'm just going to remind you of my sentence. I would be delighted if I got an interview at Google. Okay, and as you can see, present turns into past in the second conditional. Now, I'll give you a moment to think. What kind of job interviews would you like to get? But frankly, you don't think you would. So anyway, have a think, jot them down, jot down your examples. You can even pause the video. Okay, when you're ready, come back. Right, conditional 2 also contains things like, if I were you, I would do this. If you were me, I would do this. Well, let's face it, you are not me, I am not you. Okay, it's not quite dreaming, but it's not reality either. It's just imaginary situations. If I were you, again using the past, if I were you, I would ask Google for a job interview. I would write to Google. I would, what else? What other advice can I give you? I would eat more fruit and veg. I would dance more. I would do more sports. I would spend more time with your family and so on. Have a think. What kind of an advice would you like to give to your best friend? Okay, thank you very much. Now come back. We've only just got one more conditional left, and that one is the most difficult one in general for people to really understand and to be able to use it properly. So this conditional is all about the past. So let me start with giving you a little bit of a secret. I ate too much for lunch. I had too much food at lunch. So if I hadn't eaten so much, I would have felt better. And this is conditional 3. So, and that's why I mentioned before that often when people think about something that they should have done in the past or should not have done in the past, so it's all about regrets. So we use conditional 3 very often for regrets, but also simply to describe things we didn't do or did do instead of not doing it or doing it. So anyway, it sounds a little bit confusing, but let me give you another example. So I would have felt better if I had prepared a little bit better for this interview or for this video. So, as you can see, the present in the first conditional turned into the past in the second, if I go to Japan, if I won £1 million, and now it's going to turn into the past perfect. If I had eaten, so past perfect, past perfect. My writing is great, I'm sorry, it's terrible actually. If I had eaten or hadn't eaten so much. And here, well, would remains, but then in addition to would, we're actually going to use the present perfect. Present perfect. So I would have done or I wouldn't have done. So that's it for now. What I would like to do now is really either pause this video and have a think about conditional 1, 2 and 3, or maybe just think about it in your mind, or go for a walk and think of the realistic examples. If I eat too much, I will not feel good. Dreams, if I won £1 million or £100 million, I would give it all to the charity. And I would like you to think about the past, some of the things you wish you had done differently. So for example, if I hadn't done so much sports 3 days ago, I wouldn't have been in pain right now. So think of your own examples and please practice. Practice makes perfect, as you know. Keep practicing. Bye for now.